What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to My Town Films, and in today's episode we are going to talk about the car scene in general as a whole. How did you get into the car scene? I'm curious to know, how did you guys get into the car scene? First, I wanted to tell you guys how I got into the car scene, and then we'll just go from there. This is kind of a long story, so I'm really going to try to chop it up as much as I can, and everybody needs to get in on this and write it down below or make a video, because I want to see how everybody got into the car scene. So as a kid, I really was not really into cars as much as I am now, but my dad is not even a car guy. He just likes cars, I guess. And basically he would take me and my younger brother to which is, I think it was called the Philadelphia Auto Show, and basically we would go every year, and what we would do there, we would go at the very end when everything was starting to close up, because I think children were free at that point. So we would go there and look at all the cars that were still there. So that was kind of like my first look into the car scene and car shows in general. I really didn't think much of it because, well, it was just going to car shows with my dad, hanging out with my dad and my brother. So I was probably about, this is back in 2003, 2004. So I was about 8 or 9 years old, and that was around the time when Fast and Furious and Need for Speed was out. So of course there was Dub there, and I was a big fan of Dub. I was a big racer up until about a couple years ago. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I was a big racer, man. I'm okay to admit that. We all were at one point in time. But then again, back then it was kind of acceptable to do that kind of stuff to your car because, you know, the Fast and Furious thing inspired all those people to do that to their car. So Dub was really big. I loved Dub, going into the Dub section and seeing the big giant chrome rims, you know. So I got Need for Speed Underground on the PS2. I got Need for Speed Underground 1 on the PS2, and I started playing that here and there. And of course my car was like, I think a Honda Civic EM1 or something like that. And basically I raced it out, you know, put like neons on it, and that was kind of like my go-to game, you know. That was my favorite racing game. And I'm really glad that I got into the car scene that way. So I'm still not there yet. This is like the pre-stage of my car involvement. So fast forward like 5-10 years, and basically what does that put us at? 2013. Okay, so I'm going to talk about 2012. 2012 was the year I got my permit, and no, 2011 was the year I got my permit, and then 2012 was kind of like when I got my license and permit. So I was thinking about my first car, and my mom was considering getting me a Ford Taurus. And if you don't know what that is, I'll put a picture right here. Yeah, pretty bad, right? But at the time I was just focused on getting a car that would get me from point A to point B, and that's how a lot of people think nowadays. You know, they don't really want a car to go fast, they just want a car for transportation use. So basically that was kind of like my goal. I kind of really didn't want to get into cars. I wasn't really into it like that. And then one day I was just so happened to, so I started walking to school in college, and this is fast forward to the end of 2013, fall of 2013. So I'm walking to college, and every day I walk in the morning, it was like 9 o'clock in the morning, and I see a RSX parked outside of my neighbor's front yard, and I walk past it every day, and I was just like, oh, that's a cool car. Yeah, it's a cool car. It's cool. Now this is also around the time when this channel was a gaming channel. And that's a whole nother story, so I'll save that. But in that gaming channel, we had a Forza team, and in that Forza team, I had a car that was a Acura RSX, but actually it was a Honda Integra Type R DC5, and it looked something like this. And I did not realize the Honda Integra and that Acura RSX were the same exact car. So I'm just now putting two and two together X amount of years later. I go online, type in Craigslist, Acura RSX on Craigslist, and the first thing that pops up is a bunch of Integras. I just get flooded with Integras, and I'm just like, whoa, what is this? Let me click this. So I clicked it, and I was just like, this is a nice car, you know? Screw the RSX. Screw the RSX. This is cheaper too. I'll take this. So then I just start researching Integras and what they are. I didn't even know they were 4 cylinders, front wheel drive. I didn't know anything about them. I was just like, you know what? I like this car and I'm gonna buy it for my first car. From that moment on, I researched Integras for 3 years straight, and here we are now in my car making a video on how I got into this car. So that was pretty much the story. The rest is history from there. I got my first car, which was in 2014. First car, 2000 Acura Integra GS. If you didn't see it, it was in episode, I think, 3 or 4. And it was automatic. My parents didn't want me to have a manual for my first car because accidents, and my vision is pretty bad, so accidents. So I had fun with that car, even though the engine blew on me and I had to get a V20, but that's a whole nother story. I don't want to talk about that. Let me know how you guys got into Integras or Hondas or whatever car you drive. I'm really interested to hear on how you got into the car scene. Go ahead and leave your essays down below and I will probably read all of them. So that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, I will see you in the next one.